up, you guys? It's Joelle. Welcome back to another episode of The Best Life. It has been a minute since I've done anything makeup related, so I'm very excited for this. And for those of you guys who are new here, The Best Life is just my chatty get ready with me series, very casual. And yeah, we talk about important topics, ask important questions for becoming a better, more well-rounded, holistic, understanding, compassionate human. So yes, I'm just gonna start getting my makeup on now that it's 3 p.m. Starting off, I'm just putting on my Bare Minerals Prime Time primer. But yeah, before I get into today's topics that we're gonna be discussing, I just want to give you guys a little update on life. As you can tell, for those of you guys who have been following and like know this background, I'm at home in San Francisco right now. But I actually am supposed to be at Dartmouth at school. I'm a senior at Dartmouth. I'm gonna be heading over there literally in like 2 days. So I'm just here for a tiny bit in between trips, leading the first year freshman trips. Oh, you know, I forgot. Wish Trends just sent me this. They're a Korean skincare beauty company that I love and that I'm an affiliate partner with. So they sent me little products to try out and review. And this is a Tika 1% barrier cream. It's an on-the-spot treatment since I told them I get like hormonal acne and kind of like skin irritation when I travel. And I've been traveling a lot. So I'm gonna try sticking this on my face because like you can see I'm getting like irritation here. I have no idea what it's from. It kind of looks like a rash almost, but I just have no idea. So I'm just putting some of that cream on my face underneath my makeup to like calm down my skin. If you're interested in any of Wish Trends like K-beauty stuff, they also sell Claire's, which is a really popular Korean brand, but those are always linked down below. Yes, it is an affiliate link, so if you buy something, I might make a small fraction of a profit off of it, but honestly, very little. So this is more for you than for me. You guys get a discount, a monthly discount, and then you can get free shipping through this link. So, okay, for my face base, I'm using my Neutrogena Healthy Skin Anti-Aging Skin Perfector, and this is just a tinted moisturizer, so I use this like every day, really casually. But anyways, as you can tell from the title of today's video that I want to talk about Asian representation in the media. It has been poppin' these past few months with, namely, Crazy Rich Asians. I think it broke a record for Labor Day films. And if you don't know what like the hype about Crazy Rich Asians is, it is the first like all Asian cast like in a Hollywood film since the Joelle Club, which was released in, I'm not sure what year, but I'll stick it in a little caption down below. So it is a big deal for Asians who have historically been silenced in Hollywood. And I know like for some people it might not seem like a big deal because you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many Asian characters. There's like the dude in The Walking Dead. There's you know, the chick in Big Hero 6. There have been Asian characters, but when have you ever seen an all Asian movie that is about being Asian but doesn't make Asians like a caricature of like the Western view, like the goofy sidekick or really submissive and over sexualized or the nerdy one or whatever it is, and they're just normal people and they're attractive people and they're living their best lives and they're making decisions. They have lots of complex backgrounds and personalities and a wide range of emotions. It's more rare than you would imagine, especially for Asian females. Oh my gosh. Ugh. But yeah, so I have been so excited by Crazy Rich Asians and To All the Boys I Loved Before, which is a different kind of movie because it features an Asian American family. Oh yeah, I'm just using my Fit Me concealer. And it's not really based around being Asian in that it doesn't really focus on Asian culture a whole lot in like forming the characters' worldviews. It's really just kind of a part of their life experience, which is very different. So I really like that these two came out around, you know, around the same time because they're very different in how they represent Asian culture, and one being, you know, Asian American and one being Asian. So in today's Best Life episode, I'm basically just gonna be like raving about these movies, but also giving like my thoughts on what it means for them to exist. So for me, as you can tell, I was super excited for these movies to come out because it just paves the way for so many Asians in arts and entertainment who have not really seen a place for them before. It is breaking down the barriers of Asian Americans working in Hollywood and saying like this is important, saying this is something that we need and that money responds to. Like they're doing so well financially, Crazy Rich Asians is, and that speaks to studios saying like, oh, like Asian representation actually would be supported because historically the arguments is that no one wants to watch an Asian protagonist. Henry Golding, hello. So it really speaks to studio directors and whatnot, saying that like we are aching to see people that look like us on screen that we can admire and learn from and criticize as well. And I think also from, you know, the consumer's perspective, for young kids to be able to see characters that look like them on screen, seen as both heroes, villains, complex people, as I was saying before, is really important for developing a sense of self and place in America, in the world, and just in terms of like personal confidence. This is the only palette I brought home for this weekend, so I'm using Peach Tea. Oh, it's Too Faced Just Peachy mattes, and I'm using the peach tea color all over my eyelid. Discussing a little more about Crazy Rich Asians, like in particular, oh my gosh, the cast was just so good. Constance Wu is amazing, so funny, but also like such a, like, you know, she plays a complex character well, where she's funny and witty, but also very emotional, and there's a lot of like depth to her. Henry Golding was amazing. I love that he wasn't an actor beforehand. He just came on and did an amazing job. Okay, Awkwafina. She's goals. I love Awkwafina. I don't think I can express this enough. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She plays Peik Lin in Crazy Rich Asians. She's also in Ocean's 8. What a baddie. She's also given a lot of really interesting commentary on what it means for her to be in this film and what the film has accomplished for Asian Americans and Asians in the media and in Hollywood. And on top of that, she's just hysterical. I think her personality is just so interesting. I love that it shows like the multidimensionality of Asians in the media, because I think, you know, classically people see Asians, like I said, as like the sidekick or like the nerd or the, you know, the docile, weird sex toy kind of geisha thing. And she just comes out here out of the blue. She's an Asian female rapper. Like, how dope is that? She just kind of blows everyone away with like how raunchy she is, but how real and raw she is. And I love that so much. And you can just tell that everyone in it was so passionate about what they're doing, because they understood what it means to pave the way for the next generation of Asian Americans, Asians, to be in Hollywood and the media. So there's like a lot of heart behind their performance, and also just like the whole production of the thing. Next I'm gonna take Peach Tea again under my eyelid, and I think next I'm gonna take a little bit of Fresh Picked and throw that on like the outer half of my eye. So, talking about next though, some of the criticisms that I heard about films like Crazy Rich Asians. It's based in Singapore, but all the characters are Chinese. They're supposed to be like the wealthy Chinese immigrants who escaped, you know, before the Cultural Revolution and all of that, and kept their wealth. You know, the criticism that the movie faced was that it's all based in Singapore, but there's nothing in the movie really regarding like the culture of native Singaporeans. My thought is that it's okay, because they're not claiming to be the story of Singapore. And I don't think that we can expect one movie to tell the whole story of a country, even if they're set in that country and based in that country, or tell the whole story of a people. Like, they were not telling the story of all Chinese people by any means. Also, they did hit a lot of, you know, a good wide range of, you know, the Chinese immigrants in the US, or the native Chinese wealthy demographic and whatever. But at the end of the day, they can't tell everyone's story, and they're not trying to. They never said that they were. And in my head, it just means, well, that means we need more movies based on Asians, told by Asians, about Asians, to tell the greater holistic story to the world of what Asia is, and what Asian culture is, and what Asian history is, because Hollywood does not know. We have not gotten those movies yet, but now we have the opportunity to, and I'm very excited for that. Kind of flip-flopping back to criticisms that I actually had of To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which again, loved because it focuses on an Asian American, half Asian family, but it really isn't like the focal point of the story. It just shows an Asian American girl going through life as an Asian American, but it doesn't, you know, the whole story doesn't revolve around her Asianness or her struggle with her Asianness. It's just part of who she is, and that's just life. I mean, sure, there are struggles regarding being Asian, but there's also a lot of struggles of just like life and teenage years and coming of age that I think everyone can identify with, and we don't need to make it like an Asian story. It's a story about a family and a girl who happens to be Asian. And in the story, she's half Korean. So a lot of the cultural references, like the Yakult and the sheet masks and stuff, I just identified with so much, because that's stuff from my childhood, as I am half Korean. So I thought that was just really fun and heartwarming. So it was really, really cool to watch and so much fun. But there were a couple things that I have a bone to pick with. First, where I'm taking a little bit of peach punch and I'm throwing that in the very like outer V, just for, you know, punch of pink. Okay, I think her name's Lana Condor. She was amazing. I thought she did such a good job and I love her. She's adorable and so gorgeous. But I don't know. I know that it's hard to find, you know, specifically Korean American or Chinese American actresses, but I would have been so happy if they'd actually found a Korean American girl to play like a Korean American character. And I mean, I don't think this is a huge issue because just like as someone who's like kind of worked in movies, know how casting works, I know it's really hard to find someone who has the talent that you're looking for and the vibe that you're looking for, but also the ethnicity that you're looking for, especially because Asians like historically have not been encouraged like to go into Hollywood because no one's giving us any jobs. So why would kids want to go and act if no one's gonna hire them? So I was a little bummed by that. Blending now, by the way, but at the same time I empathize. The only danger of that though is that there's already like these stereotypes where people are like, oh, like all Asian girls look the same, and then they confuse like, oh, like what's the difference between like Chinese and Japanese and Taiwanese? They're all like kind of the same thing. No, they're not. So that is one danger where I'm like, someone's gonna take this and do something stupid. And another thing about To All the Boys I Love Before is just small complaint, but I did notice that Lana or Laura Jean literally never took her eye makeup off. Like she was always wearing, well, she was wearing eyelash extensions or falsies the entire movie because Asians genetically do not have the best lashes, which I get, but at the same time totally perpetuates like stereotypes of like, you know, white beauty when Asians without eyelashes cannot be considered beautiful. And also just like always wearing eyeshadow, like when in the scene where she just like got out of a hot tub and was going to bed, I was like, girl, you don't need to wear eyeshadow when you're going to bed. Like, that's bad for you. So I was a little bit like, I'm assuming it was like a decision of like the costume director, obviously, not the actress, because I'm sure the actress would have been fine taking off her eye makeup. Just classic Hollywood things, being slightly racist and having very particular ideals of beauty that we are constantly trying to fight. But you know, maybe one day we'll get there and people will be able to see a bare-faced makeupless Asian and still think she's beautiful. My dreams, you know. Wow, okay, I'm pretty happy about my eyeliner while still talking a lot. Honestly though, like if those two things were my main complaints about the movie, I would say they did a pretty good job. Next, I'm taking my L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara and I'm just gonna really lightly coat my lashes. But anyways, as you can tell, I was super excited about these movies and I'm really excited for what it means for entertainment as a whole moving forward. And I acknowledge that as films like artistically, you know, Crazy Rich Asians and To All the Boys I Loved Before are not for everybody. Not everyone has to think that they're amazing films. Not every Asian has to enjoy them even, but that's okay. I just think that regardless of whether you enjoy the movie stylistically, you just have to acknowledge what it is doing for minorities and representation in Hollywood. Okay, next I'm using my Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. But yeah, I would also love to know what your guys' thoughts were on these films, whether you like them, didn't like them, what you think, how you're feeling about, you know, Asian representation in general. But yeah, anyways, last few steps, I'm getting into something completely different just because I think this is relevant to the issues of like racism in America. And though I'm like super hype on where Hollywood's at and where we're going, some recent controversies that I think are worth noting and just talking about a little bit is the Nike Colin Kaepernick thing. So I found out about this through Twitter of all places. It was the first place that I saw. Oh, and this is Milk Makeup's matte bronzer in Baked. Love this stuff. But yeah, I'm sure if you guys have heard anything about this, you might know that Colin Kaepernick is one of the NFL players who has sort of taken the lead in like the Take a Knee movement during the national anthem to just show acknowledgement for the injustices existing in our country, such as, you know, the continuous shooting and like brutalization of young African Americans in the South and the Midwest, kind of all over our country, that's not really being acknowledged. And then it sparked all this controversy. People were so angry because they felt like it was disrespecting our country's veterans and, you know, the people who fought for justice in our country. And basically a lot of people are saying like, oh my gosh, you're discrediting the work of all the people who have like built this country and you know, sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their families and whatnot for you. So when Nike renewed their deal partnership with Colin Kaepernick and released this ad, and it's Colin Kaepernick's face, and it says, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, just do it. People flipped out because they're like, oh my gosh, you're being so disrespectful. That is not heroic. That's like squandering and rude and dishonoring. And you know, as you can imagine, a lot of the people who are very angry about this are white, are privileged, do not have to worry about getting gunned down in the streets on the reg. And there's this a huge disconnect between what this ad was meant to do and what some people seem to be understanding, because in response a lot of people took to the internet and posted videos of them burning Nike shoes, saying I can never wear Nike again. I saw this really sad tweet. I think it said something like, imagine a country where people respond more to a shoe ad than, you know, a school shooting or something along those lines. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's really where we're at right now. I just wanted to like share a little bit about what's going on if you maybe haven't heard about this, and also just vocalize like my thoughts on what's going on here. Like where are we missing something? Because obviously this is a huge controversy and people disagree heavily on it, and I just don't think that should really be the case. Because I think for someone who you see that ad and you get angry about Nike saying that Colin Kaepernick had to sacrifice, you know, for what he believes in versus, you know, veterans who obviously sacrifice for what they believe in, I feel like this is the point and it just went phew. People just swerved so hard on the point, it missed them completely. Where instead of feeling, you know, personally attacked and being like, oh my gosh, like disrespecting our veterans and people who fight for our country, it's just basically expressing a continuation of what those veterans fought for. I think the whole take a knee movement, when people backlashed a lot at Kaepernick and he lost deals and his livelihood responding in that way, and A, I do think that is sacrifice for something you believe in, but B, the sacrifice that they're talking about and like the advancement and like the progress that Colin and many NFL players took a knee for, to me is not contradictory to what, you know, our veterans fought for. I am so confused as to why people think that for people to acknowledge Colin Kaepernick's, you know, push for the country to acknowledge these injustices is somehow detracting from the freedom that our veterans fought for. Like, where did it say that there was not enough honor or not enough progress to be had? We're really glad that people fought for what we have now, but we have to acknowledge that there's a lot that is yet to be done. I think there's a Texan senator or something who's running for office, and he had a very good response when people were asking what he thought about the NFL players taking a knee during the national anthem. And you guys should go watch that video. I'll put a link for it down below. But basically he was just saying, like, I don't think it is un-American or unpatriotic for them to do so. They're not disrespecting the flag, they're not disrespecting the country, because what they're doing is simply what they've been taught to do as Americans. Americans fight for their freedom, they fight for equality, you know, and they fight against injustices that they see and will bring it up in order that it can be addressed and made right. People be wilding out, and I think that it is so unnecessary. Like, if you're so passionate about to the point of burning your shoes, like, shoot, maybe think about like the slave labor that made those shoes. Be mad about that if you're gonna burn your shoes, okay? And anyways, I know this can be super controversial. I never ask anyone to agree or disagree with me, but I, as someone who makes a lot of content and throws it on the internet, just want to address this. And who knows, by the time I post this whole thing could have been blown over by now. But anyways, yeah, for my Christian viewers, those of you, and I know there's quite a few of us, those who are maybe just learning to grapple with how to reconcile, you know, what's going on in our modern day social issues and the Bible, what we believe theologically, I just want to end it with a couple verses that I love that are all about equality in the kingdom of God. The first one is Joel 2:28 and 29, and it says, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions, and upon all the servants and upon all the handmaids in those days I will pour out my spirit. The next one is Galatians 3:26 through 29, and it is, so in Christ Jesus you are all children of God through faith. For all of you who are baptized into Christ have clothed yourselves with Christ. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, nor slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for all of you are one in Christ Jesus. If you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. And that, You can look into, you know, the implications of what it means for, you know, Jew or Gentile, old men, young men, slave nor free. And no, the Bible is not using these verses to say that slavery is good or acceptable. The Bible came in and said, actually, these slaves that you're treating as property are equally part of the kingdom of God as you are. So with the modern day application, I think it's really easy to get caught up in the, you know, division of political parties or race or socioeconomic class. But at the end of the day, what God sees is all of us equally, and all of us equally valuable and welcomed into his kingdom. So with your, you know, dealings with people going throughout, whether you're entering conversations about this sort of stuff with other people, keep that in mind for anyone who believes in Jesus, that you need to deal with everyone equally as yourself. But anyways, this was a long little rant. I hope you guys enjoyed or had some challenging thoughts. We love being challenged here. If you have some questions or comments to challenge me with, feel free to leave them down below. However, if they're not questions or comments that advance, you know, good educated discourse or are expressed with the heart and intention of learning, empathy, or better understanding other perspectives, then I'm gonna delete them all. Basically code for me saying if you're being super rude or just straight up disrespectful, I don't need that energy on my feed. I can get rid of that and not pollute the minds of my other viewers. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.